All right, sometimes it takes 5 or 6 takes to make these little 5-minute videos. One of the reasons they're not longer than they are is that I film them in public parks. And doing that, it means sometimes it takes 5 or 6 takes before we can get a 5-minute video together. I don't have a lot of time to do these, but I like to do them for those of you that are watching them and enjoying them. This is a bonus video about the Holy Spirit. This week we started our series on the Holy Spirit called Staying in Rhythm, and for the next 10 weeks we are going to be talking about the person and work of the Holy Spirit. And my central point this first Sunday was that the Holy Spirit is a person, not an impersonal force or energy source that we can sort of use and manipulate. In fact, the creeds say that he is the Lord, the giver of life, whom with the Father and the Son we worship and glorify. And one of the things you'll find is that the New Testament never uses the pronoun it when speaking of the Holy Spirit. It always uses the pronoun he to emphasize that we're talking about a person. I said in my sermon that it would actually be better to use the word she than it. The preferred pronoun for the Holy Spirit is he. That's what the New Testament uses, but it would be better to use she than it. And that probably raises a question: why is the Holy Spirit never referred to as she within the New Testament? And the answer is more interesting than something like, well, it's a patriarchal culture. Lots of the pagan peoples around the Jews worshipped gods and goddesses. So it can't be as simple as saying, well, they were just a patriarchal people. Other patriarchal people had female goddesses. Strictly speaking, the Holy Spirit never became a human, never took on flesh, never incarnated. So the Holy Spirit is, strictly speaking, neither male or female. The Holy Spirit's not a sex being or not a gendered being, but because the risk of using it can imply that the Holy Spirit is an impersonal force, the New Testament uses he. But why does the New Testament never use the pronoun she? And I think the answer is that Orthodox language can only take us so far. It can help the church and its people say important, truthful things about God, but it's limited, like all human language, and it can never enable us to say everything that we want to say about God. Not only that, but the church is not only trying to be careful in affirming things about God, but also trying to be very careful in what it's of trying to avoid saying, because it would be untruthful about God. And if we used the pronoun she, and I'm going to probably have to move here in a second, if we used the pronoun she, there would be 2 potential huge mistakes that we could make. One would be drawing the conclusion that the Holy Spirit is Jesus's mother. So we have the Father and the Mother, and they have a baby. That is not an Orthodox understanding of the Trinity. But another mistake that would be just as problematic would be to turn the Holy Spirit into Jesus's sister. And if we did that, that would sort of beg the question, well, could there be more siblings? Could there be more later on, a 4th and 5th and a 6th and 7th member of the Trinity as God the Father just sort of begets more and more children? And that also would be an unorthodox understanding of the Trinity. St. Augustine gives us our best understanding of the relationship between the Holy Spirit and God the Father and God the Son. The Holy Spirit is not a sibling of Jesus or another offspring, so to speak, of God the Father. The Holy Spirit is the powerful love that exists between the Father and the Son. And since that love has been around forever, since Jesus has always loved the Father with all of his love, since the Father has always loved the Son with all of his love, that shared love is itself, or himself, or herself, another person, another self-existing, eternal part's not the right word, but expression of God. And so the Holy Spirit is the personal love that is shared between the Father and the Son. And so the Holy Spirit is a person, but not a sibling, and not the mother of Jesus. And so while it's not heretical or unorthodox to refer to the Holy Spirit as she, there are some limited places within the mothers and fathers of the church where that language is used with great care. It's not used often because the church is trying to avoid making mistakes in what it affirms about the Holy Spirit and what it affirms about the Trinity. I hope that's helpful, hopeful, and interesting to you.